Let's say that meat is, after my family, the most important thing in my life. I grew up in a butcher shop every day, every morning, every noon, together with my parents. Meat was important. My name is Hendrik Dierendonck. You're here in my restaurant Carcasse in Koksijde. It's been here since 10 years, my first restaurant. And my butcher shop is next door. So the connection with the butcher shop is really with Terroir, the author of the butcher shop. And Carcasse Dierendonck is a nose-to-tail experience. It's a butcher and a restaurant at the same time. So experiencing meat, sommelier of meat, tasting different breeds, that is what Carcasse stands for. We're a family of butchers, and my father always has taught me to have respect for what you do, for the animal. And I had one big lesson. When I was 15 years old, I always went skateboarding. 7 o'clock at night, I came home, and my father, he put on the butcher's block all the bones. He said, "Boy, you didn't do your work well." He said, "There's too much meat on the bone." There's three very important things. So first, you have to have respect for the animal. There's a farmer that works for that, there's an animal that's killed for that, so every piece of meat should be cleaned and nicely done. You have to have respect for every piece of the animal, nose to tail. And then also be proud of what you do, of your craftsmanship. So it's very important that you do something you can be proud of. A lot of people say now in Belgium, you change the way of looking to meat, eating meat, thinking about it. Getting appreciation from all those people now in the world is the biggest present you can have in life. Let's say running a business, doing something that you love, yeah, I would recommend it to everybody. So what do we have here is, we have the utsla. And utsla, it comes from old slaughtered. Old slaughtered, old slaughtering. So we make a selection from milk cows between 5 and 7 years old. So these animals, they give a lot of milk, they make new fat, they're very creamy, they have very good butter. So we go into 3 different refrigerators. And every refrigerator has another temperature, humidity and ventilation. So sometimes we go up to 15 degrees, we go back down. So that makes the fermentation process what is unique, I guess, and what is my taste. So for me, utsla is a unique piece of meat, very creamy, very butterness, and I just love it. What I'm doing now, I'm gonna get out and peel off the whole flat iron steak. So we're gonna peel it off round. So we got trimming all the beef fat off. We never throw away the beef fat because it's so good. In the centerpiece, there's a big nerve in it. So we're gonna get it totally out. I push it, I don't cut it. You see, got all the pieces out. So now I got a perfect steak. It is not so tender, but the taste is unbelievable. Look at that. So I'd say welcome to Carcasse. Where the rail is connecting the butcher shop with the restaurant, it is an also tell story. Because for me, it was always important that people feel the ambience of the butcher shop in Carcasse. I always said I'm never going to open a restaurant. I made this tasting room to let people feel and show my craftsmanship. And of course, now it's become a real restaurant.
When I was 2-3 years old, and I think that's also what makes us today a special bond, because I've known Hendrik growing with the company. I've known Hendrik when he was still with his parents working in a butchery, where I was 4 or 5 years old, really getting my sausage. In Belgium we have this thing when you go with your parents to the butcher shops. For me, he's always been, also with Carcasse and with Dierendonck, the #1 butcher in Belgium, the #1 meat supplier in Belgium. The products he has, the charcuterie, and the passion that he brings is totally different than any other butcher shops in Belgium. And I think for me as a chef, it's really a pleasure, and it's an honor that as a young age I can partner with Hendrik. We're not running a restaurant, we're running an experience where you come to the butcher's table, and I always tell people, you come as you would come have dinner at my place at home. Butcher and a chef, and it's always a classic saying, 1 + 1 is 3. But I think that's really the key success to Carcasse, is that Hendrik delivers me as a chef the best product I can ever get. And for me, it's a little bit of a playground. As a chef in a candy store, we are very lucky as chefs to work so close with the butcher shop and to work so close with the farms. Because if we want the pig ears, if we want the tongue, if we want the bone marrows, we all get from every part of the animal the best quality. So for me, as 27 years old, there's a huge future ahead of me, and I would like to open, of course, some more restaurants and do events and go international and travel a lot. But still, the main focus should be Carcasse, should be why people come to Koksijde, to the end of Belgium, traveling from far to the restaurant, just to get the experience, to get the food. And for me, the most important thing is feel at home. I want everyone that comes to my restaurant to feel at home, that I can serve them as you would come to my place. So now I got this beautiful steak from Hendrik, our house selection. Super creamy. We're already gonna salt it, but only with fleur de sel, so you get a nice crust. We're gonna go high in temperature. I don't use butter, I don't use oil, I use pure beef fat. So the trimmings from our own steak, we're gonna melt, we're gonna cook in that. Goes high in temperature, so we can get the nice crust, that Maillard reaction you're looking for. The meat, the moisture will take out, and the crust, the salt will create a beautiful crust on the steak. So pure beef fat trimmings. High temperature plancha, 300 degrees, 350 degrees. And really cover the whole steak in that beautiful beef fat. I really wanted to have it bleu chaud. We call it in Belgium, it's like very rare, but still warm inside. I'm gonna turn it one more time, so you really see the crustiness on the meat. But this is what you want, you really want that flavor in there. I'm gonna let it rest for at least 30-35 minutes before we go to the open fire. We're gonna start grilling our meat in the meat brasa. Charcoal, we already have the nice crust of the meat. Now we just want the smokiness on there. I'm gonna leave it there for 2-3 minutes, mix it, cut off the bone, and then we're gonna feel how the temperature of our steak is already. That's what you want, nice crust on the outside, the beautiful rosé inside. A little bit smokiness, but then you have the crust from the beef fat. With a mixture, really baste everything very nicely. Get that buttery, creamy flavor all over there. There you go. Some salt to finish. And a little touch of black pepper. There you go.
So another one of my specialties, of our specialties, is the Menapian pork. It was a breed that was, disappeared in the year zero. And I found it very crazy that as a butcher, as in Flanders, we exported hams to Rome in the year zero, and now we don't make the Menapian pork anymore. So together with the University of Ghent, we created this pork again. We crossbreeded old breeds until we had the same height, the same nose, the same consistency like the Menapian pork. There were letters found of this extreme, good food, this extreme good pork. We matured this pork for about 3 weeks, and it is a fantastic flavor. And we have a special cut that we make. So we mature this meat for 3 weeks. And you see, it's almost like becoming butter. But the pork, the Menapian pork, when you come to the fields in the prairie, it's like a boar. It puts its hair upright. So he's a little bit scared of you. He's letting you know they're there. So his hair up, we made him the tomahawk. It's a very nice cut. It's our signature cut in Carcasse, and it is really a nice fiber. So you see the little bit pieces of marbling, the texture of the fat, because in a pork you have 6 different kinds of pieces of fat, all with another saturation. And this food that we give to this pork makes this meat so delicious, so tasteful. And of course, I was born in a butcher shop, and my parents always said, your counter has to be perfect. And this is the same for the presentation of my meat or my restaurant. The details make the difference with who we are and what we do. So, let's cook the tomahawk. As I'm a butcher and a charcutier, cold cuts and charcuterie is very important. Why? We try to work nose to tail. So here we have our different kind of cold cuts. We have the coppa of the Menapian pork, we have the guanciale, we have the coppa of beef from the Holstein, from the milk cow. We have the crème de bœuf, it's matured for 1 month, salted for 1 month, aged for 1 month. We have the fleur, the wagyu ham, and the beef pancetta. And here we have a fantastic piece of coppa. We cut it in the old school way, and it's really a piece that it has a lot of butterness, a lot of flavor of beef, and a little of nuttiness. So we have really a lot of clients appreciating it so much. So it has a very particular taste. Welcome to the Dierendonck farm, a place that's very close to my heart. My parents live here, I lived here. It's the connection with the nature, with the animals, and it is where everything starts for our butcher shops and for Carcasse. Here is a place that I grew to have respect for the animals. My father, he taught me that an animal that you well raise, that is happy, that has no stress, gives you a very good meat. We are close by to the sea, but we're also in the polders. So the clay ground, it gives the grass a lot of fattiness. We don't do only grass-fed, but still most of the feeding is pure grass. And it's the ground soil that makes the different taste, that makes the character of the meat. And that's what about terroir is we're talking about. Terroir is what the animal eats, the climate, the marbling, the fatness. Animal breeding is like winemaking. What made me quite worldwide famous, that was the Flemish red cow, this beautiful animal that you just saw. When I started breeding it, there was only a cattle of 800 pure blood animals anymore. So together with farmers, most of the time stubborn farmers, that the few there were here with West Flemish cow, we started working together. That made the result that now we have a cattle again of 3,500. It is still very small, and it will never be big, because it is very important that we protect ourselves for a big business in it. We have to be humble and honest that this will always stay pure terroir West Flemish breed. And a lot of my chefs, they like it. Timon likes it, my clients like it. Having that appreciation, that return of purity of a product is, however, fantastic. We're not only butchers, we're not only a chef, we work with a vision for the future, and I think that is very important. Also for the people that work with me, to connect them, to think them to the future, to think beyond. And I think that's very important that we keep that alive.